you doing? How you doing? On the dais now for us with Mississippi State is head coach Vic Schaefer, student athletes Dominique Dillingham, Victoria Vivians, and Morgan William. We'll take an opening comment from Coach Schaefer, and then we'll take questions for our student athletes.
Good morning, and thank you for having us. We're glad to be here. Really excited about our opportunity. Really proud of my team. We've had really a special year at 33-4, and coming through the schedule that we've had. I believe the comments made when the bracket came out was that we were in the quote-unquote spicy region, and anyone who came out of that region would be battle-tested and ready. And we came out of that region, and I'm really proud of our kids and for their effort. It took an extraordinary, extraordinary effort to get out of that region, beginning with the two games at our place, and then going on to play in Washington in the leading scorer in the history of the game, and having to deal with Kelsey Plum and that great team, and then beating a really good Baylor team, obviously, that was so talented, 7 McDonald's All-Americans. Obviously, a team that was a favorite to get here, and but our kids found a way, and they have all year. It was a great basketball game. It had to be fun to watch for anybody that was watching it. I understand it was the most watched thing on ESPN that day, and again, awfully proud of our resilience and toughness that day. It's been that way all year with this team. They've been great all year long in the moment. They've embraced those opportunities. We know we have a tremendous challenge in front of us, going against a team that's, it's the best program in the history of the game, coached by the best coach in the history of the game, men or women. And we know what's in front of us. We've had to deal with it before. Obviously, we dealt with it last year, and it wasn't a real good experience. But I think we've grown from that day. We've learned from it, and we're going to do our very best to play a really good ball game tomorrow night. So, again, these kids have earned the right to be here. Make no mistake about it. And I'm just proud to be their coach, and we're looking forward to an opportunity tomorrow night in Dallas.
Thank you, Coach. Questions for the student athletes? Over here, Richard.
Hey, Richard Deitch, Sports Illustrated. Victoria, whether it's in person or on film, what does UConn do differently as opposed to any other opponent that you've played?
UConn is a very good team. They run the floor a lot. They make smart plays, and they just a really great team. So on film and off film, you can tell that they're a really great team.
Question over here, Adam.
Good afternoon. Adam Minikino from the Commercial Dispatch in Columbus. For Morgan, Victoria, and Dom, the experience this year, I know you guys haven't played yet, but can you just talk about how this is different so far, and maybe how there's a different sense of understanding what this is all about, the distractions, and what it's been like so far, and how you hope it's different Friday?
Can we go down the line with you starting, Morgan?
I feel like we've grown as a team since last year. We're better overall, and I feel like we're in better condition to go out there and compete. And like last year, I feel like we was a little timid to go out there and play, and it showed. And this year, I feel a different vibe in the locker room and practice that we can go out there and compete with them.
I feel the same as Morgan. Like, we was a different team last year. Like she said, we grew this year, became a better team. And going into this game this year, I feel like we're more confident and we have a chance just like everybody else has a chance.
Same as they said. I think we're a different team this year, but I think they're also a different and great team this year, too. They're fast. They have a great transition game. They execute offensively. And they're well coached, but we're well coached as well, and we're a much better and deeper team this year. And I think it's going to be a great game and a great matchup.
Question in front here.
Jerry Longman from the New York Times. Morgan, how are you different as a player this year? Is it your confidence, or is it more than that? Or how are you different?
This year from last year, I'm healthy this year, confident as well. I feel like I'm back to playing myself than I was last year. And I have a bigger role. I mean, I had the same roles, but this year I had to fill the role, talking, being that leader, being the one that sets the tone for our team, and just make sure I try to have a good day every day so my teammates can too.
Played with it the whole year. Had a broken leg. So.
Question right here.
Yeah, for Rick Cleveland, Mississippi Today, for any of the players, Gino Auriemma in here earlier said that he sees a huge difference in the way y'all are playing now than before Vic made the change, where he 4 new starters, and I just wonder how y'all think it affected you.
Can you take that first, Dominique?
What did you say?
Can you take that question first?
Okay.
Yeah, Dominique.
I think a big thing that went into the change is the 2-week break we had coming out of SEC play. We got back and we had practice for the whole 2 weeks. We just worked a lot on our offense, executing offensively, setting better screens, coming off those screens better. And I think as a whole, we just got better offensively. We really focused on executing, and we knew if we wanted to win big ball games, we were going to have to execute offensively down the stretch. So that was a really big focus for us. And, him changing up the lineup, we've changed up the lineup many times throughout the year in practice. So we were already used to the lineup change. So I think everybody's comfortable playing with each other, and I think that has a big deal with our chemistry. We have great chemistry no matter what. So I don't think it really affected us, comfortable-wise. We're all comfortable with each other, so.
Question in the back here.
Chuck Carlton, Dallas Morning News, for all 3 student athletes. A year later, what did you learn about that game against UConn, and how much of a motivation is it for you guys now to prove that you aren't that team that played against UConn last year?
We can go down the line, starting with Dominique.
I think we just learned that we cannot be all tied up. Last year, I think we were just tied up. He came out that I think they had us down 20 to something already. You can't come out tied out if you want to play and win against UConn. We just got to be confident. We got to come out ready to play. I think if we come out ready to play, we'll be fine.
Victoria, go ahead.
Feeding off what she said, we had to come out and play confident like last year. We got down fast, but I feel like coming into the game Friday, let it speak for itself. See what we do and see what they do.
After the game, it's kind of like a reality check as a team, as a whole. And I feel like going into preseason workouts and stuff, I mean, you just really want to work your butt off and develop more as a player after seeing like number 1, 2, and 3 draft picks. I mean, you have a lot to work on, and I mean, it was an honor to get to play against them. So that season, I just wanted to really work hard and get back to this point.
We actually have 2 final questions for the student athletes from.
Doug Feinberg, the AP. Just piggyback on that question for a second for the first part. Did you guys watch the tape of that game at all since then, and what did you learn from it? And also, this team, which is known for its defense, has been scoring a ton lately. What has changed to get the offense going to putting up these crazy numbers that Coach usually hasn't had in the last couple of years?
Dominique, you want to start?
Yeah, we have watched the film a lot. After we played them last year, we watched it a lot before the season even started, just to remind you how fast the game can get away from you. I think it taught us that we have to compete each and every possession. You take it one possession at a time, and if you take it from there, it would be fine. What was your second question? Offense, okay. And just like I said earlier, I think just practicing our offensive execution has helped us a lot, setting better screens, coming off the screens better, and then having a point guard like Morgan who can lead your team and get people where they need to be helps.
Victoria?
Yeah. again, feeding off Dom. We saw that film a lot last year. Even walking in the weight room, our strength coach had 60, like on his mirror, like the window. So we seen it every day. It didn't leave our heads at all. So to be put back in this position mean a lot. And for the offense, like she said again, we executed plays. We started working on our offense. Even though our defense is good, we need to work on our offense. And we had to start executing plays, cutting off screens harder, and just taking, shooting the ball. The coach say, like, you got a good shot, but get the great shot.
Yeah, like they said, we did watch film. He made us remember that we don't need to forget that game. It needs to stay in the back of our mind so we don't be complacent. And with the scoring piece, I feel like changing lineups, it gave everyone confidence, like people who played behind them and behind me. For me personally, it helped me as a point guard because playing with the second lineup, it made me talk more, had to build the confidence in them, let them know, like, when I work hard to get you an open shot, you need to take a shot, stuff like that. So, Blair did a great job. Tierra, all them did a good job coming off the bench, coming to starters, and I'm just proud of them. And I think that grew as confidence because once we have a sub, the starters are coming in, so I feel like that doubled our points.
Thank you, ladies. That's all the time we have for the student athletes. They will be available in the locker room until 1:10 p.m.
Good job, Becky.
We'll continue with questions for Coach Schaefer. We'll start here with Jeree.
Could you elaborate a little bit on Morgan's injury? Was it the fibula or what was it?
She had a crack in her tibia. If you look back at the film, she wore a protective covering on it all year. And, we rested her. We didn't practice her at times all week, things like that. And she'd play in games, and kids just tougher than nails. I've had other kids that have had that. We tried then to see at the end of the year if it would heal, and it wouldn't. So she had a rod put down, just like you normally do. It's a very common injury, and it's one that doesn't tend to heal. And so, but she's obviously now she's back feeling good and 100%. I can
Mike,
hear you.
please.
Talk about your close relationship with her. You didn't adopt her, but you obviously after the father died. Can you sort of talk about that close relationship?
Well, it's I was very close with my parents both, and I've buried both of them. And I still remember where I was standing the day I got the phone call that Donnie had passed. And I don't wish that on any young person. It's hard enough when you're an adult. She's Blair's roommate. She's at my house more than any other player for dinner or whatever. And so she's someone that I know because of what she's been through, I try to provide that stability whenever is necessary because she is away from home. And so I love all my kids, but there's always a special place in my heart for any young person who's had to go through dealing with losing a parent. It's terrible. And, the kids handle it like a champ. Her mom, Monica, is such a strong Christian woman. And so there is that unique and special bond that, we have.
Question here.
Vic Howard Magdal,
Howard.
your numbers are overall higher of late on the offensive end, but you've been real efficient all year, 19th in the country in offensive efficiency. How much of that has to do with Morgan being healthy and putting you guys in better positions? And then just specific to her playing through that injury, do you think she found some ways to compensate that allow someone who's 5'5" to do things like score around the rim, which she does at an elevated level?
Sure. We probably need to remeasure Howard because I'm pretty sure she ain't the 5 in the second part of that. But, anybody that deals with what she dealt with obviously is a really tough kid, to have to, and when Morgan makes a move, there's so much torque, involved and really and so, getting through that, certainly I think she's learned a great deal. at the same time, I think, you look back to our Baylor game, we had 4 turnovers total. I think we had 1 at halftime. That's an amazing stat this time of year. We forced 17, which that was the stat of the game at the end of the day. 17-4 in turnovers was the stat of the game by far. But our offensive efficiency, I think, really starts with her, no question about it. I want the ball in her hands. I want her to make some decisions with the ball. You watch Connecticut the other night just completely disrupt Oregon. That's concerning. But at the same time, I know with Morgan and really the offense that we run, we're pretty good at doing some things, creating space and going off the bounce. So, and we got shooters. That's the thing. I've said this all along about the change in the lineup. We put kids on the floor that were hot. They were making shots. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to look at our stats over the last 5 games going into the SEC tournament and in the SEC tournament and seeing who's hot and who's not. At some point as a coach, you got to start playing some kids that are making shots that you've been watching every day in practice make shots. And as long as they're not a defensive liability, you got to play those kids. And that's what we did. And, Blair had 39 in the regional, 21 and 18, led us in scoring. Well, she'd been making shots for weeks. So it was time to get her in the lineup. Tiara deserved to start. And really, for her, it was more of Chinwe had been getting a quick foul. And so I was just trying to buy Chinwe some time instead of getting a quick foul. She had 2 fouls like the first minute at Tennessee, earlier in the year. So I was trying to buy her some time. And then Tiara, I didn't really want to start her. Probably could have midway through the SEC schedule, but I felt like she could be the 6th player of the year, which she was. So I didn't want to keep her from having that opportunity. And we were still, obviously, we had great continuity and chemistry. So at the end of the day, and let me tell you, Rashonda Johnson, she's been nicked up, dinged up all year long, fighting through nagging injuries. And if we can ever get her back going, she's an offensive weapon again that can create her own shot, can stretch the defense. So at the end of the day, that's kind of what's contributed to us. And like Morgan said, she plays with those kids every day. And those kids have been in big ball games. I mean, Blair had made 3 threes, including the go-ahead 3 at Tennessee that helped us beat them. So our kids could care less who's out there jumping center. And that's really what we're talking about, who's out there jumping center compared to how many minutes they're playing in the game. The minutes haven't really changed that much.
Question down here from Doug.
Hey, Coach, Doug Feinberg,
Hey, Doug.
DAP. I noticed when I asked the kids the question about the UConn game and watching film, there was kind of a wink and a nod between you and them, like they can answer the question saying what they said. I'm just curious, did you watch the film to learn what you guys can do since UConn's personnel is completely different with the 3 gone? So what did you learn out of the film, and how did the whole 60 in the weight room, it sounds like, number come about?
Well, we watched the film when we got back, and we watched it leading into the season. We haven't watched that film. What I've shown them, here, we showed bits and pieces of that game. And you can probably figure out which piece we showed, but, there wasn't a whole lot of great things to show. I mean, when you get beat 60, Doug, it's embarrassing. And I think the big thing we learned that day was the speed of the game. They were Speedy Gonzalez fast. I mean, they were really fast. We walked into the gym that day with 6 players in walking boots, and it looked like we still had them on when we were playing. And it was a humbling, embarrassing experience for all of us. And so, but I think that's the big thing you learn is the speed of the game when you're playing them. And let me tell you, this team is no different. I know the names have changed with some of them. The team's no different. Great chemistry, great defensive team, great offensive chemistry, great skill sets, and they are fast. So that's the piece that hopefully with us won't be new this year. We understand going in, we better run the floor or they'll run us out of the gym in a hurry again. And that's the piece that has been most concerning of all in preparing for them. You watch on film, when they get a rebound there's not one player that turns and takes a step. They're turning and taking a stride. They are running. And that's the difference, I think, with them when you're dealing with them. I mean, it's really a challenge.
Question in the back.
Chuck Carlton.
Hey,
Dallas.
Chuck.
Hey, just wanted to ask you, from your Texas A&M days, it looks like you still mine Texas for recruiting for talent. How much do you do that? And could you just address the contributions you've gotten from your Texas contingent this year on your team?
Well, all 4 of those kids have been special. We're always going to recruit Texas. Obviously, I'm a Texas boy, born and raised here, and have so many colleagues and friends that are high school coaches in the state. We've got 4 kids on our team right now, and Katera and Dom in that senior class are very, very special. And so it's and then Tiara's a sophomore and Blair's a junior, and so we'll always recruit this state. Those kids have all been impacts, no question about it. They have impacted our program, and it's again, because of my relationships with so many people in this state, we'll continue to try to get back in and recruit the best kids. Thing you got to remember is that everybody wants to talk about the next McDonald's All-American. We get together as a staff. Well, who are we going to get? I want to know where we're going to get the next Dominique Dillingham. A kid that wasn't really highly recruited, but has impacted our program as much as anybody I've ever signed. Her toughness, physical, aggressive. I mean, she's just a tough, physical, aggressive basketball player, and that doesn't say anything about her jump shot. So you got to have kids like that, and so we'll continue to recruit this state.
Question over here.
Andy Friedlander, Newsday. How much of playing UConn is in the head and playing against that winning streak and the legacy and the national championships? And how do you address that with the perception that everyone is playing for second place?
Andy, it's there's nothing you can do about it. It's there. It doesn't matter how much you do talk about it or don't talk about it. Last year I talked about it a lot. This year we're trying to treat it just like another business trip. This team has been really good on the road, and we spent most of non-conference on the road. We only had 3 home games. And so this team has done a great job of going on the road and being businesslike. It wouldn't matter if you're playing Connecticut at home or on the road or here at the Final Four. You're still dealing with a well-oiled machine that is well-coached, has great players, and they're always going to play great. So that's what we have. So now to combat that, we've got to continue to play like we're playing, which right now we're playing as well as we've played all year. So if I'm going to have to play them, which I am, now's the time to play them, from my perspective, in controlling the things that I can control. And that's kind of what we've tried to focus on this whole tournament is let's control Mississippi State. Let's work on the things that we know we got to get better at. Let's win the minute. Let's win the hour. Let's win the day. And that's kind of been what we've done since we got back from the SEC tournament. We scored 48, 49 points in the championship game, set the game back 30 years offensively. Well, I don't like having 2 weeks off after that tournament, waiting to play in this tournament, but it happened at a great time this year for us. It allowed us to get back to doing some things and allowed me to make some changes, quite frankly, and work on some things that needed working on. And so it was really beneficial for us this time.
Question from Richard.
Vic, obviously, these guys would be hard to prepare for if you had a month, let alone a couple of days.
Right.
I know you're not going to give the game plan away, but could you give us a sense philosophically of when you started thinking about preparing for UConn? Do you look ahead in the tournament and maybe send one of your assistant coaches to scout ahead? It's always interesting to me how a team would look to scout Connecticut, even if Connecticut's not their immediate game.
Sure. For us, we're always, and my players have been great about it too, we're always about, okay, who's next? When do we play? What time's the bus leaving? And that's kind of been how we've taken all year long. Like you said, you could have told me a year ago when we walked off the floor, hey, you're going to get them another year later, get ready. I'm not sure how much time I would have spent on it because, you know, I'm worried about 37 games between now and then. And so, as it is, we started getting ready for them when we got home from you know, winning the Elite Eight game and beating Baylor. We started getting ready for them then, and we were very attentive watching the game, you know, that they played on Monday night. So at the end of the day, again, there's only so much you can do because of their philosophy. Extremely difficult to prepare for, and because of they're so multidimensional. Each player can do so many different things at each position. It really creates some mismatches for you. And so, you know, we've got to try to minimize those situations if we can, the best we can. And then the battles that we can deal with, let's deal with them.
Question right here.
Coach, with all due respect to Connecticut, you've answered questions about Connecticut now for 3 days. How much do you want your kids to go into the game with the swagger that says, we're Mississippi State, we've won 33 games, we're hot, deal with us?
Well, I think we can say that just like that in our room. We have to be careful stepping outside and having that type of brashness. But, you know, for us, I think we do talk about, hey, look, we're playing well, y'all. We have 4 turnovers tomorrow night. We'll be right there. Take care of the ball. Let's don't get caught giving up layups that we can't defend. You know, there's all kinds of things that you talk about, but, you know, again, it's hard to forget. You know, we're human. Listen, there's not a more humbling thing than getting beat 60 on a Sunday afternoon, I think it was a Sunday or a Monday, knowing that you're going to the WBCA convention the next week, and they've asked you to speak about defense to your colleagues. I mean, I remember calling Danielle, the president of the WBCA, going, hey, Danielle, it's Coach Schaefer at Mississippi State. Are you sure you want me to give a presentation at the Final Four about defense? We did just give up 98. That's a humbling deal, y'all. But at the same time, I think you grow and learn from it. And, again, our team's different, you know. Now, we've got to go play. That's it in a nutshell. We just have to go play. If we'll go play like we've been playing, look, we just beat a #1 seed. I mean, Baylor's pretty good, by the way. They're really good. Got a lot of really good players. I mean, now they're so good that they were talking about the UConn-Baylor matchup on Saturday night on ESPN before we even played them on Sunday. So they're obviously pretty good to a lot of people. So I just think we've got to take care of ourselves, control what we can control, win the minute, win the hour, try to win the 2 hours.
Sorry, we have time for one last question here in the front.
Hi, Vic, Wendy Parker, Basketball Times, Blue Star Media. When you came to Mississippi State 5 years ago, did you think you could be in the Final Four in 5 years? And also, just to develop the fan base, where they used to have hundreds in home games on a Sunday afternoon. Now you had like almost 6,000 on a Friday afternoon. Can you explain those two things? And did you envision being here now?
Well, certainly I envisioned being here. I'm not sure anybody envisioned it happening in 5 years. It's pretty quick. You know, that first team we inherited, we went 13-17. We didn't panic. We knew what 13-17 looked like, and we went to work. We went recruiting. Those kids that we inherited, we kept every one of them. We didn't get rid of anybody. We asked them to change, and they did. I give those kids a lot of credit. But you know, the recruiting piece became very important, and then I have a tremendous staff. I mean, I have an unbelievable staff. They do a tremendous job developing these young ladies, both on and off the court. They're great role models. And so, you know, I did believe it. I wouldn't have gone there. You know, I would have never gone to Mississippi State if I didn't think we couldn't do what we've done. I just don't know that anybody thought, including myself, it would happen in year 5. Our fan base is special. We've averaged over 7,000 fans a game. We're top 7 in the country in attendance. We had 10.5 this year. We had 10.6 a year ago. I mean, what's happened at Mississippi State in women's basketball is very special, and you can count one hand and two fingers where else that's happening across the country. But that's part of building a program. When you go to build a program, it's not just about X's and O's and wins and losses. It is about a fan base. I'm so proud that the Final Four is sold out tomorrow night, and I know my fans had a big part in that. We're going to have a great contingency here, great support for our kids, just like we had more fans in Oklahoma City than I think Baylor had, and they were loud and proud. And we've traveled well to the SEC tournament now for 3 straight years. Had as many fans as anybody except South Carolina. And so I think that's the piece that as a coach you're so proud of, knowing the impact that my kids have had on a university, on a community, and on a state. And again, that's why we do what we do. Very few times in life do you have a chance to make an impact. And these kids have made an impact. We go in the stands after every game. If we win, we're in the stands. We're hugging babies and kissing mamas, or vice versa, whatever it takes. But that's what we do. And in this game, that's easy. But I call my team the people's team, because everybody that comes, they just want to hug them. They want to tell them how much they love them. They want to give them a dozen cookies. They want to feel a part of them, and that's what makes our game so special. So for us, it's been so much fun, so much. It's the best thing I've ever done, the best decision I've ever made. And again, I give my kids all the credit. People don't come watch us play because we're standing around in a 2-3 zone. That might work for other people. It don't work for us. They come see our kids play because we're a blue-collar, hard-nosed, tough, physical, aggressive basketball team. And I think our people in our community can identify with that, and they appreciate that. They want to show their son and their daughter, hey, I want you to play like Dominique Dillingham. I want you to play fearless and step in front of a freight train and take a charge. I want to see you compete like they compete. That's how you build a program. And I'm really proud of that. And, you know, I got to give Coach Blair a lot of credit, because I sat and watched him for 15 years and was with him. And that's how we built it, you know, when I was with him.
Thank you, Coach. Thank you. That's all the time we have.
All right. Thank y'all. Praise the Lord and go Dogs.
Stanford is now making their way to the podium. Stanford is now on their way to the podium. Their locker room is open at 1:20 to 1:50. Stanford is here in the interview room. Bree, right? Yeah. Hi, how are you? Good to see you again. It is cold in here, ladies. Chilly. Hello. Hello.
Got our 3 seniors here.
Wonderful. Joining us on the dais now, head coach Tara Vanderveer, student athletes Bree Roberson, Erica McCall, and Carly Samuelson. We will open with a comment from Coach Vanderveer, and then we'll take questions for the student athletes.
Well, we're very excited to be here. Our team has, I think, had a great season, worked very hard. And the reason I'm sitting up here today, one of the main reasons is because of the 3 next to me, not just their outstanding play, but their outstanding leadership and their commitment to their teammates and to Stanford. I think the seniors, I'm really so proud of their senior year, and I hope they are also equally proud of it. But you know, it's just been a lot of fun working with them and to see their growth and development and their improvement, and we want to keep it going.
Question right here, Michelle. Questions for the student athletes now.
Michelle Smith, ESPNW. Erica, there was such a sort of a joyous release when you guys won that game, which I know was really tight and very tense. But how do you you switch gears to being so excited to be here, to be excited to stay here and keep playing?
I think Tara said it best, is that we switch gears real fast, especially coming off of that win from Texas. We had to, like you said, emotionally just click the switch on and get ready for Notre Dame, and I think we did the same. Got to celebrate for maybe a day, maybe one more day afterwards, but I think we're really focused. I think that Notre Dame game is in the back behind us now, and so we're focused on South Carolina. I think we're ready to go.
Question right here.
Hi, Jessica Hunt, NCAA.com. This question is for Carly. How does the experience of having played with your older sister in the Final Four compare to now playing with a younger sister on another team?
Well, yeah, it's different because she's on a different team this time, but it's just as fun. We got to hang out a little bit at the salute dinner last night at the ranch. Yeah, it's definitely a different experience because we're not working for the same thing, but we're both excited to be here.
Question in the front row here.
Thank you. Tom Fitzgerald, San Francisco Chronicle. Erica, could you talk a little bit about Asia Wilson and the challenge that she presents? She's 6'5" and just kind of dominating the paint, especially in the tournament.
Yeah, Wilson is a great player, finishes really well down low. So I think it's going to be a big battle for us. I'm really excited for the matchup, though. One of the best players in the nation gets a battle against her, and so I'm looking forward to that matchup. Definitely looking forward to the challenges, however, because she can finish well down low. She has finishes well with her left hand, and so definitely going to need some help from my teammates, but I think we can take on the challenge.
Question right here, Elliot.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Elliot Almond, San Jose Mercury News. Bree, I want you to travel back in time a little bit, OC Rhythm and Carlos and all that, and you saw the Samuelsons. You know, you guys were all kids in that gym. Is it weird, like you got your roommate and then you knew Lou on the other side there? Just tell us what it was like back then.
I mean, it was really fun. We had little nicknames for each other, and we worked out. We had OC Rhythm clinics. That's really funny. But I don't know. I knew that they were special players even back then. Their work ethic, getting there to the clinics early, all of us really. And we all did have the same trainer growing up. So, yeah, Jason Wright. So I just know that, or I knew that through their work ethic, they were going to be special. And it's not a surprise that we're all here today.
Question right here.
Hi, Howard Mandel, Vice Sports. Carly, this one's for you. When you came to Stanford, the spot-up shot was a given, but your offensive efficiency is basically throughout everything that you do. I'm curious how you trace that development of being able to score in every conceivable way, and if you see any weakness even at this point in your offensive game?
I definitely see weaknesses. I think I'm best at my three-point shot. I've definitely gotten better from my freshman year to now. I'm scoring different ways. But yeah, there's obviously a lot I can work on. I am proud of where I've come, but I think my teammates do a really good job of giving me the ball in the place that I like most, which is behind the three-point line.
Question here, Michelle.
Yeah, for Carly. I'm going to ask you another question about Lou. Do you guys have any agreement on a communications blackout at any point? Are you texting freely at the moment and then deciding at some point that you guys will just sort of go to your respective corners if it comes to that?
Yeah, we're texting freely, of course. We're talking. Obviously, if we both win, we're probably, going to focus just on the game. Haven't thought about that too much, or really just focusing on each other's games this Friday. Yeah.
Anything else for the student athletes? Okay, thank you. Thank you, ladies. They will be available in the locker room until 1:50 p.m. We'll take questions for Coach Vanderveer. We'll start right here with Doug.
Hey, Coach. Doug Feinberg, the AP.
Hi, Doug.
Welcome back to the Final
Thank you.
Four. There was a time, this is my 10th one, the first 6, you guys were here every year, and it was almost taken for granted that Stanford was going to be in the Final Four like UConn. But having a couple years when you guys didn't make it, does it make you appreciate being back here more now for what it takes to get here?
Yes. It's, it's never easy to get here, and, we're very fortunate to be here this year. I think that, women's basketball, there are, when we first went in 1990, I think there had been a total of maybe 8 or 9 teams that had ever been to the Final Four, and obviously now there's a lot more. But it's harder, and sometimes you just need the right matchup or to have make a big play, and we're really excited to be back. It's not like we've been gone too long though. So I think we went for a stretch, and then we were off for about 11 years. So this is better than that.
Question, Michelle.
Tara, will you characterize your relationship with Dawn when she was a player for you on the 96 team, and what your relationship has been with her since?
I think I've always had a very good relationship with Dawn, but sometimes as a player, you're going to tell them things they don't want to hear, and so Dawn could probably tell you a couple of stories of things that maybe she didn't want to hear from me, but I always have respected Dawn's competitiveness, her work ethic, her absolute passion for the game of basketball. If she tells you she beat me in chess, she's a liar. But we just compete, and I love Dawn, and I'm so proud of her, and I'm not surprised at all. But she is, I think she's just a great role model for the young women coming up. She carried our country's flag. She's everything you could look for in a coach and a friend, and just it's just a great story, and I just wanted to keep it going. I texted her congratulations after the Florida State win, and we had been in communication because they're being announced as the national team coach. But I said, I just have one problem. I can't cheer for you on Friday night. So.
Question here in the aisle.
Coach, Wendell Barnhouse, American Sports Network. When the Cal men's job was open, a columnist in the Bay Area wrote that he thought you would be a good candidate. Not to get you to talk about that in specifics, but the NBA commissioner recently said that he wants to have a woman's coach in the NBA. What do you think it's going to take for a woman to coach either a men's college team or perhaps coach an NBA team?
I think it'll just take someone that has some vision, like maybe Greg Popovich having, Becky Hammond. It's just a matter of giving people opportunity, and whether it's, I just think there are really qualified female coaches, and I just think it's just a matter of time, in the same way that we got, maybe, close to having a female president. It's just a matter of time.
Question for Richard.
Richard Deitch, Sports Illustrated. Tara, you've coached a lot of great players, whether it's Candace Wiggins, Appel, Naka, Chene, where it was pretty clear in important moments who the ball was going to. So I wonder when you have a group now that's the points are spread out, sort of more of a collective, how has your coaching changed, particularly in late game situations?
I need more antacid. It's very challenging. You know, it's a lot of it is game to game. It is. This has been a great year for our team and a great growth for our team and growth for me to really figure out this puzzle, as you pointed out in a nice way. It's a challenge. We have to figure out during the game, and that might be why sometimes it takes us a while to get going. Say this is what's available. This is what we're looking for. Bree, or Marta or Alana. It's not always going to be the same person. There was a comfort. There was a kind of a sense of comfort, like when that Sinead would come to the game and she was going to give you basically 25 points and 15 rebounds. There is a security in that. But at the same time, there's a real excitement with this team, just to say, hey, we're going to have to make game time adjustments. And their confidence and their resilience has been really fun. But we do go with kind of the hot hand.
Question here, Michelle.
Tara, how do you assess Asia Wilson at this point in her career, both as an offensive and defensive player?
I mean, she's terrific. I mean, first of all, she's very athletic, skilled player, can hit the outside shot, scores low, runs the floor well. The team, I think, is, they get her the ball. She plays with some really good guards to get her the ball. She's in the proverbial load. You've got to work really hard to play against her. And I know that our team will really battle her, but it's not going to be easy.
Question here in the front row. No, okay. Question right here on the aisle.
Hi, Tara. Lindsay Jones from USA Today. You were just talking about how many qualified female coaches there are. Earlier today, Gino said that maybe the number of female coaches coaching women's teams right now has gone down because fewer women want to coach. Do you agree with that? If not, what do you see as the reason why maybe there are fewer female head coaches coaching women's teams now?
Well, I would say one thing, women aren't recycled in the way that men are. I've had this conversation today already a little bit, but, last year I was, as Tom knows, I was very close to Johnny Dawkins, who was let go at Stanford. Great guy. And I went in and, the day he was let go, and I kind of embarrassed myself. I started crying in his office, and he's like, he's consoling me. He's like, hey, Tara, I didn't get it done, And then I told my friend about it, and my friend said, don't worry, he'll get a job in a week, But that does not happen for women coaches. There's a lot more competition for women coaches. There are women out there, and maybe, research has shown that women, sometimes they need to check all the boxes before they'll take a job, where maybe a guy would just check 2 or 3. Oh, okay, I can do that job. So I think that, as an example for me at Stanford, I was at Ohio State. I had a very good job, at Ohio State. Andy Geiger recruited me to Stanford. I said no the first time, and he said, let me bring you back. Maybe for women, you have to recruit women, and you have to really, you have to support them a different way. So and women have different roles in their families with children and things like that, that if athletic directors want more women in women's basketball, maybe they have to look in the mirror and say, all right, how can we make this happen? Because I think it's on it's their plate, basically. There are women. We need to, look, if you want women in your jobs, and you have to look and look to hire them. Keep the pipeline going too. Get more women in the pipeline.
Hi, Tara. Vice Sports. 2 separate things. One, on the offensive end, Carly, though you spread it around, Carly's your most efficient scorer, but she's least efficient in isolation. I'm wondering how you sort of balance between getting the ball in her hands and being able to manage that and making sure you're getting it off the catch and other ways. And defensively, I'm curious whether you think there's an advantage to being able to play South Carolina, a team that plays at a slower pace, when you guys have been a lot more effective defensively in the half court all season. Thank you.
All right, so offensively, Carly with the ball is all good for me. Whenever she has it, wherever she has it. So, maybe analytics say something different, but eye test says give her the ball and get her a shot. As far as playing South Carolina, honestly, we play whoever they put in our bracket. We're here, we're excited. If it was Mississippi State or Connecticut or whoever it is, we're just going to do the best job we can getting prepared for who we're playing. Sometimes in the tournament, like, people maybe overthink it or even don't, like, be careful what you wish for. So I've just kind of adopted the philosophy, like, just be excited. I told our team when the bracket comes out, I said, and we knew we were going, thank goodness, because we were the second to last team announced. I said, you just pretend you won the lottery. And no matter what you're doing, no matter who you're playing, no matter where you're playing, that's our attitude all the way through it. And I think we've kept it all the way through the tournament.
Michelle?
Tara, 2 questions. One on Carly and the last couple of years without playing, for the first time in her life, on a team without one of her sisters on, and what you saw in terms of her growth, sort of being on her own in that way. And then the second question was, again, just a bit about Dawn. What have you taught her that she might use against you tomorrow?
All right, well, Carly has really grown, I think, as a player. What I've noticed more than anything else is she's put more time into her game before practice, after practice. She's always the first one out. She'll be the first one out there tomorrow shooting. She's got it, we get to practice, and she gets up 100 shots before anyone else even gets out there. They're all, putting on their shoes or fixing their hair or whatever. As far as you saying what I taught Dawn, I hope she uses all those things that were bad things that I did. Dawn is her own woman, her own coach. I just think that if she learned anything from me, great. I don't know that I could say what it was. I know that she's going to be really prepared, and their team will play really hard.
Question in the front here.
Tara, this is a question that has been brought up for years, but I'm curious to hear what your response is. Gino obviously gets it every time he's here. When you've got one team that is so dominant and it's all anybody can do to get within 20 points of them, is that really good for women's college basketball or not? What is your opinion?
I don't know. I don't think it's good, and I don't think it's bad. It's what's happening. And, why should anyone be penalized for excellence? He does a great job. They get great players. Is it bad for women's basketball because it's not spread around? Maybe it brings more attention to it. So I don't really have a judgment on it. But I don't think it's either good or bad. I think it's just what it is.
Question here from Mel.
Hi, Tara. Mel Greenberg.
Hi, Mel.
Once upon a time in your navigation of a season, all the heavy lifting was on the front end, and then it was take care of business after January. This year it was quite different. How much did the upgrade in the Pac-12 help you?
Mel, all right. The Pac-10 and Pac-12, I think, has always been extremely competitive. I think it's alternate facts to think that it was easy to go through the Pac-10 all those years with Lisa Leslie, Tina Thompson, all those great players, all right? So I'm going to try to set the record straight. It's not easy now either, all right? But it was never easy. And what has been the game changer in my mind has been Pac-12 Network, because now people see these players. If we didn't have Pac-12 Network and maybe we didn't get some of the better seeds that we've gotten, the same thing would happen over and over. When people see a Kelsey Plum or a Jordan Canada or Erica McCall, Carly, they see these players. It has never been Stanford and the 10 little dwarfs. okay? It's always been extremely competitive. Pac-12 network has been a game changer, and it's been awesome. So,
Any other questions for Coach Vanderveer?
all right, it's great to be here. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Coach.